On what's next. I would like to discuss some of my major priorities for this year and how we plan to address them. I am committed to finding a home for Newburyport Youth Services, and I want to quickly address what this means in terms of our values we're prioritizing when we support this project. NYS has evolved over the years into a full city agency that provides the holistic services to address everything students need outside the classroom. We need space for their recreation programming that provides enrichment activities for youth during the school year, and both recreation and childcare opportunities for families, especially during the summer season. We also need a location for NYS's Youth Center, which functions as a safe and enriching hangout center for young adults. When NYS was at the Brown School, over 200 youth relied on it as a safe place to be with friends, do homework, and spend time outside of school. NYS offers social and prevention services through major state and nonprofit program grants, and has become a leader for their work with young people in building assets and helping some of our most vulnerable in the community during challenging times in their lives. They need space for the programming they offer to a variety of groups, and we want them to have one location on which they can rely to support these very important programs. The space we have identified as 59 Low Street, and it offers many advantages. It has room for NYS staff offices, program spaces, and a youth center, and would allow us to build a gym that could be used for NYS, but also the larger community. We have a shortage of available gym space in the city, and having a gym for youth recreation, community sports leagues, and senior activities like pickleball would be a tremendous asset for the city. My daughter Ruby plays basketball in her 7th grade travel team. Her team has to share the gym time with another team, and she doesn't get home until after 9 p.m. 2 nights a week, because that's the only time available. She is 13 years old. Imagine coming home from a 90-minute practice and then trying to wind down and go to sleep, and then get up for school the next day. We can do better for our kids. We are working to make sure we can mitigate traffic and parking concerns on the site, and address any other drawbacks. But as it stands now, the pros far outweigh the cons. We are requesting additional funds from City Council to move forward with the design of this site so that it is shovel-ready when we receive approvals on the project. I want to thank Andy Egmont and the Youth Services Department, who have shown incredible flexibility and resilience in finding ways to work with our youth without a dedicated space. We will continue to partner with them and find ways to support their programs over the next year as we build their long-term home. My administration does not want to start from scratch when so much assessment and design has already been accomplished here. The City Council voted to purchase 59 Low Street earlier this year as a viable option for NYS after a review of several other locations in the city. And we are happy with the proposed design for this space. We feel we have done our due diligence, and a no vote would leave us with few, if any, potential options. Finding a home for NYS is a priority for the city, and we have the bonding capacity to take on this project while also addressing the other many issues we have in the city. This site fulfills the requests of the department, the administration, and the community. Let's move forward together. A second big picture priority for my administration this year is to successfully manage all the projects that have just been recently approved, which is a lot, including the Cutter West End Fire Station, the Central Waterfront Bulkhead, the Bartlett Mall Frog Pond, and Market Landing Park. I'd like to give a brief update of each of these and what they mean for our community. After some unexpected challenges and difficult decisions, we are anticipating breaking ground on the West End Fire Station this year. Over the past year, we have acquired property adjacent to the existing fire station in order to provide the physical space to build a safe and modern facility. Our planning department, together with the fire department and DPS, developed a detailed design and obtained permits for the new station based on the schematic design the City Council approved back in 2021. This is the first building subject to the city's new net zero policies. At their next meeting, the City Council will vote on whether to approve of increasing the bond approval for this project in order to cover the full amount based on recent cost estimates. We hope to have their support so we can move forward with bidding and plan on breaking ground in early summer. This is a crucial project for the public safety and the safety of our firefighters. And we appreciate the hard work of the council and city employees in preparing to move us forward. We received some excellent news regarding the Central Waterfront bulkhead over the past year. Thanks to the tireless efforts of grant developer Nancy London and our senior project manager, Jordy Vining. We received grants of over $1 million each, both from the Federal Economic Development Agency and the state's Seaport Economic Council. We are waiting to hear from FEMA about a third grant for over $1.5 million, and we are very thankful for Congressman Moulton for lining up the funding for this grant. All this funding makes us ready to put the contract out for bid this spring, and we are on track to begin repairs in the late fall. We are nearing the end of the usable life for this crucial piece of infrastructure, and we look forward to seeing its restoration so it can continue to serve as an effective barrier between our beautiful waterfront and the Merrimack River. Last year, City Council approved two major projects that were recommended by the city's Community Preservation Committee. These projects, the Bartlett Manor Frog Pond restoration and the expansion of Market Landing Park, would put significant resources into two bookends of our downtown and dramatically improve the visitor experience in both of these parks. We are using Community Preservation Act funding for both of these projects. Now, CPA funds are an effective way to fund important community projects without increasing the burden on local taxpayers. Preserving and showcasing our natural beauty needs to be a first level priority, and we have the opportunity to have two anchor parks serve as draws for visitors and residents alike. The new Market Landing Park will feature more green space and areas for passive recreation. The Frog Pond at Bartlett Manor will be restored so it can be open to activities like skating and paddle boating, and once again be a jewel for our city. We look forward to making great advancements on both this year. Now, my third priority for this year is to make City Hall work better for you, more effectively and efficiently for everybody. Now, one of the most visible aspects of this is the work residents see done by the DPS. I already discussed the work in paving 23 streets this past year, and we look forward to bringing this initiative towards 2, 4, and 6 this year. I especially appreciate how this new streets and sidewalks plan have made it possible to engage more community members and hear what they are looking for as we work on the plan. Our city engineer, Eric White, has done excellent work with our ward councilors to listen to residents' concerns and make alterations to our streets to make them safer for pedestrians. From a petition process for residents to ask for streets to be moved up our list, which is now online so everyone can see it, to site visits on priority streets, to a comprehensive traffic safety and an engineering review, DPS has taken advanced measures to make sure this plan is responsive to community needs and built to very high standards. We will be releasing an updated list of streets on this plan soon and look forward to continuing this process. Another way in which residents interact frequently with their government doesn't take place in person at all. It's through our website. We are finally in the final stages of launching our redesigned website, and we are very appreciative to the community members who helped out during this process to answer survey questions and to weigh in with feedback. We are looking forward to improve our online permitting and other services and anticipate making considerable progress on this over the coming year. We are thrilled to keep this work moving forward, and thanks to our new information technology team, we can make that happen. Keeping a resident focus also means ensuring that all residents are able to feel comfortable working with their government. We are continuing to improve our work in the accessibility space and look forward to continuing our work with the Commission on Disabilities to make sure we're not just only ADA compliant, but that we're actively looking for new ways to engage and welcome those with disabilities in our community. This goal also drives work with our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Alliance. The DEI budget for this year was increased, and we have asked Tina Lose, our DEI Alliance coordinator, to take on the task of incorporating a DEI lens into city policies and practices. DEI Alliance also started the Newburyport Sexuality and Gender Alliance, SAGA, which is dedicated to raising awareness and voices of the LGBTQ+ population, and running Pride events in the city in June and throughout the year. I look forward to introducing new training and policy initiatives this year in collaboration with the DEI Alliance. I would like to provide some further updates on another major initiative that my administration began last summer. and plans to complete in the coming months. Many of you know that I started my involvement in local politics and local government on the Parks Commission. Our incredible parks mean so much to me, and they were such a large part of my childhood. Last August, I proposed a reorganization of the Parks Department and administrative functions consolidated into the DPS, and the other responsibilities transferred to city employees or agencies already tasked with similar work. In anticipation of this reorganization, I eliminated the Parks Director position, and we began a public discussion of the proposed plan. Now, while the plan was eventually tabled, the feedback that we received from the community was invaluable, and I believe we are in a much better place to move forward with these proposed changes. I am sending a new plan to the council that has the full support of the agencies that are involved, including the Department of Public Services, the Parks Department, the Parks Commission, the Planning Department, Newburyport Youth Services, and a new 501c3 group, the Port Parks Alliance. We have addressed questions that were raised surrounding the role of the Parks Commission, how to continue offering adult recreation programs, who will have responsibility for fundraising, advocacy, and vision for the parks, and much more. I am bringing this plan back to council for consideration, and I look forward to the public conversation and approval of this plan that will make our parks stronger. I want to applaud our Parks Department and other related staff who throughout this time of transition for our parks have stepped up to continue to make sure our parks receive the care and attention that residents deserve. The Parks Department had many accomplishments over the past year, including joint projects with the DPS that led to improved lighting at Atwood Park, the completion of Jocka Park Walkway, and improvements to Patrick Tracy Square. The department installed 80 trees in city parks this year and completed 80% of the renovations to Fuller Fieldhouse, and closed out additional projects funded by the Morrill Foundation and the Community Preservation Act. I'd like to thank Park Manager Mike Hennessy and his team of Mike Provencher and Liam Elwell, as well as all his seasonal and part-time workers for all they have done for our parks. All of these efforts will complement each other, and we will be able to strengthen our parks now and into the future. And I look forward to the council's support of this reorganization plan. I want to touch on one more priority. I know we're almost there, everybody. I want to touch on one more priority for the city that needs to be integrated into everything we do this year, and that is sustainability and resiliency. We recently released a city resiliency pamphlet shared with residents in a mailer with their utility bill. Now, we hope to continue to build a strong public understanding of the anticipated climate change impact and potential climate hazards. We aim to be leaders on this issue because we can't afford not to be. We are advancing projects big and small to assist with our resiliency efforts. We have 3 projects we are in designing now to secure the future of our water supply, and we'll aim to have them shovel ready so we can implement them using grant money or other federal and state funding. First, we are working with the town of West Newbury on plans for a direct interconnection between the Indian Hill Reservoir, our main water source, and the city's water supply. We are also designing improvements to the lower Artichoke River Dam, which will allow it to remain in operation given the anticipated rise in water level in the future. Last, we are advancing a watershed protection plan that will preserve the quality of the city's water supply and provide a strategy for enforcement, land acquisition, and communication that we can use in the future. There are a few issues more important than our water supply, and we will remain committed to finding the best ways to ensure it will be safe and usable in the future. Newburyport is a green community, and we are working hard to meet our net zero goals set locally and by the state. We will continue to look for ways to make our resiliency goals integrated into everything we do as a city, from the purchasing of new vehicles and equipment to our approaches to planning and zoning to encourage more sustainable development. We will continue to revisit this theme in the coming year and beyond. This year, we will finish our comprehensive economic development strategic plan. Our consultant team has done an excellent job in convening stakeholders to research the current state of economic development here in Newburyport, understanding key themes and priorities, and begin to formulate strategies to help us reach our goals. We should be thinking at all times about economic, community, and environmental sustainability. Our small businesses and our rich arts and culture scene are the lifeblood of us here in Newburyport. Newburyport is a special city, and we must find ways to make it more accessible and within reach for more residents and visitors, without sacrificing what makes it unique. It's a difficult goal, but I know it's one that we can do together. Now, over the next year, we will look forward to ways to encourage more development in line with these values and to aid in the redevelopment of vacant properties. Now, one of these best opportunities, responsible developments here in Newburyport, is the Brown School site. I sit on the council ad hoc committee that's considering the adaptive reuse of the school. And I'm committed to seeing something move forward that will benefit the community and the city. I've spoken before about my interest in senior affordable housing at this site, and that has not changed. I am also interested in maintaining the gym at this site, if it can be done alongside our other goals for the building. And I support the planned release of a request for information to better understand what area developers believe that we can do on the site. This will be very helpful for deciding what to do next, and I look forward to supporting the council with this initiative. One of the best opportunities for impactful private development, of course, is Waterfront West. And it's imperative that anything that takes place down there is done right. New England Development is here and is interested in redeveloping this site, which is adjacent to our downtown. Now, I've been working closely with a group of stakeholders on how best to approach this issue. We discussed the most important considerations of the site, including compliance with resiliency goals, historic preservation, neighborhood character, housing goals, parking, and other neighborhood impacts. We then created a term sheet, a description of conditions that we will need at any development on this site to meet. We will use this as a basis for our discussions with NED. We will be bringing forward a version of this term sheet to the City Council, so it can be discussed in public and be receptive to community input. We look forward to continuing these discussions this year. This year, we will undertake our housing production plan, which will increase a path forward in meeting our state-required goals of 10% affordable housing. We will also put forward a plan for complying with the state's MBTA communities legislation. Now, these plans are useful, but they also require action, and we will need to be decisive to show that this is a goal that matters to us. This city has changed rapidly, and we risk displacing families who have been here and have called Newburyport home for many, many years. It is crucial that we commit ourselves to implementing strategies to create more housing. And I will be sure to provide updates on our efforts in this space. Reinforcing the importance of housing. Last year, we welcomed 5 Afghan families into our community. And we have worked with a team of dedicated volunteers to help them find a place to call home. On a personal note, my family has worked closely with the Afghans, and they have truly become a part of the fabric of our community. We have not made enough progress yet for these families, and the push to find them homes long-term will continue throughout this year. Now, as I worked with staff and department heads to gain their input for this address tonight, I was struck by one theme, and its reemergence throughout the conversations we had, and that is service. The employees of the city are continuously looking for ways to serve their community, not just in their day jobs, but outside the building too. I saw pictures of our library employees racing at the Yankee Homecoming Bed Race in costume and finding new ways to connect with residents who hadn't set foot in the library before. I saw firefighters and police officers running toy and food drives and organizing parades and other outreach events. I saw our planning department assist everyone in the building on how to use this new online software program to better engage with residents. I've seen so many people join boards and commissions with the interest in serving their community. Tonight, we will recognize just a few of the folks who have shown extraordinary public and community service. That we can even have a set of awards like this is just a testament of how great of a community we have. Our social capital remains one of our greatest assets, and if we continue to lead with the ethos of service and look after our neighbors with the passion and commitment on display by the people here tonight that we're going to recognize, I know that the state of our city will remain very, very strong. Thank you very much.